Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 5. So we are now into the home stretch for this season of The Flash and like the entire, Arrowverse for this season as we move into the final 2 or 3 episodes for each respective shows, depending on the show. Now, Flash will have a lot going on in these last 2 episodes of episode 21 and episode 22 in order to, deal with the climax of the Cicada storyline and what Grace Gibbons from the future is planning to do to the entire metahuman population of Central City, as well as how everything is resolved and connected to the whole Reverse Flash stuff we have seen go on this season as well. Now, for those interested, I did do a video on all the Cicada and Reverse Flash connections for this season yesterday from when this video will go up, so we'll leave that video linked in the description down below for those that are interested and have not seen it yet. But in this video, we are going to be going over the newly released promo images for episode 21 for this season of The Flash, which is otherwise entitled The Girl with the Red Lightning. And it is pretty interesting as these promo images feature like completely new looks at the episode, none of which is highlighted in the episode outside of one point in the trailer that, actually had a lot of people talking and wondering what the hell was going on. So these promo images, give us a better idea as to what that scene will involve and mean, going into this episode and also the finale for this season as well. But of course, guys, let me know your opinions in the comments section down below through this video. Also, if you want to correct me on something or have a different opinion on something, let me know all of that down there in the comments section down below, just your general thoughts. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video and are excited for this episode and the finale, be sure to drop a like on it to show your support and just your general excitement. But the first group of set photos is Barry along with his daughter Nora in their random at times role of CSIs in the CCPD. And what they seem to be investigating is the ongoing mystery of the person who is going around Central City putting holes in benches around the city. The serial pest and menace. Oh, okay, terrible joke. But this most likely would be the cause of Cicada, possibly attacking a metahuman with an aerial attack of sorts, or possibly whoever was being attacked by Cicada, flip the bench and all, flip the bench themselves in order to protect themselves from maybe the dagger coming at them or some other type of blast. Which would be a bit strange as usually, at least in Australia, these type of benches would be bolted to the ground to, make sure they wouldn't be moved or, stolen. But maybe things roll differently in Central City. I don't know, America's weird, I guess. But we do see Cisco rock up with Ralph, and it does appear as if Cisco is giving Barry some, maybe not terrible news, but most likely not good news. If I had to make a guess, Cisco might have been able to figure out exactly what Cicada is creating and exactly what it does, or maybe what the issues with those particular failed prototypes that Cicada took in the last episode, like what did those properties cause that made them failures? Because Barry definitely isn't giving off the most hopeful look, more of a worried and concerned one, so you'd have to think it is something along those lines. But in regards to who Cicada could have been attacking in this scene and who was, just sitting back and relaxing on the bench, maybe eating a sandwich, who knows? It does seem that Renee Adler could have been that person. I remember there being some set photos that came out when they were filming this episode that showed Renee sitting on a bench and then being joined by our good old friend from another Earth in the multiverse, that being Sherlock. I'm sure I will have, or put those set photos up if I'm able to find them, as well as the source for them in the description. But then in the promo images, we do see Sherlock and Renee sitting on some steps, and Sherlock seems to be kind of like consoling Renee and just keeping her company and just helping her after some sort of incident, as Renee has a blanket over her, as well as a bottle of water, which is a general sign that something happened. So it does just seem that Renee has gone through something. That's the best way to describe it. Obviously, early this season, Sherlock was completely eagle-eyed on focusing on just keeping Renee safe, and that was sort of, pushed ahead by Nora trying to throw Sherlock off her trail and what she was up to with Reverse Flash. But then the writers just sort of forgot about Sherlock moving over to Renee, and due to that, everything around that just fell to the wayside. Now, Renee has been mentioned a couple of times since that episode, even last episode she was mentioned as well. But I think most people are surprised we haven't seen her since that initial episode she was in. Now, there has been a big question about what happens to Sherlock at the end of the season. I guess the couple of options are is that he takes Renee back to his Earth. Otherwise, but the thing is that his Earth's home already has a doppelganger of her, so that'll be a bit awkward. Another option is that he will just visit Earth 1 later on after leaving to visit Renee, or he just stays on Earth 1 to be with Renee, but he might not be in next season. I don't know, he might go to and live in Coast City with Renee or something like that, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Sherlock, because usually the Wells either just dies or goes back to their Earth, one of the two. Now, we do get 2 shots of Barry as the Flash, which is always good, in a laboratory of sorts, but we don't actually see who else is in there with him or where exactly the laboratory is, whether it's somewhere or it's a company's laboratory or something like that. And well, if I had to do some like detective work of my own and place certain puzzle pieces together, it would seem that this is a laboratory in Central City University, as from what I know, that whole scene with Renee Adler was shot on location, on a location that was being set up as a part of Central City University's campus. So you would have to think this lab is a part of the university as well, and the other person who is in here with your boy Barry is that of, Cicada or Cicada or Cicada 2 or, future Grace. In regards to what she is taking, as we see in the trailer for this episode, we see like the finished device that she is going to, use to spread the metahuman targeted virus in Central City, and that device has the like cryoatomizer, obviously, and then it has this like claw-like handle, I guess you could call it, on the outside, which I have no idea what that specifically would do, but it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if this is what she is gathering from this lab, and then this altercation between Barry and Cicada could spill out into the area in which Renee Adler could be, just chilling, which leads to Renee almost being hit, and that crime scene with the bench with the hole in it from earlier on in this video. Like, that seems like it would make sense. If it doesn't, let me know in the comments, because, sometimes I just can't tell if I'm making sense or not. But this could maybe mean that Cisco is telling Barry what Cicada stole specifically, like, yo, she stole this claw thing, who knows. But that does seem like a likely series of events, but as I said, correct me if I'm wrong. But as we saw in the first few photos of these promo images, but then as we see again with some later photos here in Star Labs, Nora is back properly working with the Team Flash after her little walk on the dark side last episode, and I guess the episode before when she fully went mental. Now this will continue, there won't be like a random turn from Nora again in the finale or this episode, or you would hardly doubt that at least. But the most interesting thing with Nora and the rest of this season would have to be the ramifications and I guess after effects of her past actions that were influenced by your boy in Iron Heights in 2049, that being Eobard Thawne. Now, I'm not saying that, time wraiths are going to be coming back to present day to get her for messing with the timeline, but it's whether it is revealed that Reverse Flash was just using her to escape, and everything is laid out in like an almost chronological recap to show exactly what Nora did to allow a certain plan to play out that eventually led to Eobard's escape from prison in 2049. As I said, I did go into much more detail in that video I uploaded yesterday, but it will be interesting to see whether all of that happens in this episode, or if that is left as like a late shocker in the finale that maybe leads to some like, WTF moments in the finale as well, and as well as like some exciting setup for the future, that being, next season. But, that's for us to, wait, watch, and of course, find out. But that last group of set photos calls back to something that was set up or at least introduced a few episodes back. And that is when we see Nora with the, cerebral inhibitor attached to her forehead, which we've seen Caitlin use a couple of times this season. But why the hell does Nora have that? Well, remember back to episode 17. That was the episode in which like Sherlock dropped that diss track on Nora and exposed her right at the end of the episode. Well, we had that random moment when Nora's eyes like lit up when they were going after Vicky Boland, whatever that random meta's name was. And we thought she was like tripping out or something or going evil. But she was essentially like connecting and foreshadowing something in Cicada's mind due to that journey earlier in the season where she went into Grace's mind, and due to Grace having, the dark matter around her brain and heavily influencing her brain, that signal is like next level strong, which forms this massive bond and strong bond from Nora to Cicada's mind and memories. So it seems in this episode we are going to get Nora used in that connection to try and get a heads up of what Cicada is up to and, act upon it before she can do anything too bad. At one point it looks like we could possibly get a moment like we did in Season 3 when Savitar controlled Julian Albert. Just the way that Nora is standing there and appears to be talking, it just doesn't seem like Nora. So in my opinion, it'd be pretty cool if the dark matter's effect on her brain just like allows her to take over Nora in this situation, basically use her as a puppet and a messenger like Savitar did. Now some of the other shots like show the other members of Team Flash in the room showing like, strong reactions, so there possibly could be a big reveal during the scene, something that Team Flash weren't expecting as well as us the audience wasn't expecting, but it's going to be interesting to see and it could be pretty cool, have to wait and see. But I guess the big thing here is like, why have we only seen this happen to Nora once in episode 17? Maybe we should have got like once more. Maybe Nora predicting this stuff, but I guess the episodes haven't allowed it because of where Nora's been, so I guess you can't criticize it too much. Maybe they left it too late. Maybe episode 17 was too late to have that connection. I don't know. But the last thing is something that we saw a bit of in the trailer for this episode, and that is in these photos where Nora has a cerebral inhibitor, her nose is starting to bleed. Now this is sort of similar to Cisco when he would go, too hardcore when using his abilities. So maybe Cicada has like way too big of an effect on her during this scene. It's hard to tell exactly what is going on. But in my trailer breakdown, we did bring up the idea that maybe she was like starting to feel the effects of timeline changes, which could still be the case, but it seems this whole interaction with Cicada through the use of the cerebral inhibitor is having a massive effect on Nora, and she is struggling as we do see her collapse and pass out essentially in the trailer after getting that nosebleed. But yeah, it will be interesting to see if this has like a longer lasting effect towards Nora into the finale, or if it's just something where, you know, maybe once Cicada's done using her, Nora's just really drained of energy. Have to wait and see in this episode. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like and it shows support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on these promo images and the stuff we went over in this video. I'm interested to see what you guys have to say. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.